Hello, everybody. So I have finished watching episode 2 of Ancient Apocalypse, The Americas, Graham Hancock's second season on Netflix. And I've also actually had a chance to see his appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience. So if you haven't checked that out, I definitely encourage you to do that because it's a really good supplement to this. The second episode of The Americas deals with a lot with Easter Island. And Easter Island has a ton of mysteries, and I think it has been largely left out of the loop up until now. Graham does a really good job of providing an expose of some of the mysteries that actually exist on Easter Island. A couple of things that came out of the episode, which really, to me, bulletproof his argument, is that now he had archaeologists and indigenous peoples on this episode, and one of the things that they really talked about, and he really talked about, is the Moai statue. And while some of them are lifted up on a platform, the vast majority are actually stuck in the ground, and they're not just barely stuck in the ground; they're stuck in the ground significantly. Some of the bodies are completely under the sedimentary layer. Now, these things are supposed to have been created within the last 500 years. And this is one of the things that indicates that it's probably, unless there was like some sort of mudslide, and you'd really have to date the filler levels under the statues that are buried. But barring that, the sedimentary accumulation around some of these statues does not bear that traditional message out. And one of the things that's really interesting is that one of the archaeologists on the show discusses the fact that there are banana plants that on Easter Island that go back 3,000 years. And this is a clincher of an argument, and it's related to the stonework because that would probably be at least a little bit closer. The bananas that have been found and the evidence that they've been on Easter Island for 3,000 years, meaning that it wasn't the current inhabitants of Polynesians that are there. It means that there was a group of somebody beforehand that was on Easter Island, which is one of Graham's major themes in pretty much all the sites that he goes to. And there is actually real evidence that this is the case on Easter Island. With the banana plants being found there at least 3,000 years ago, they don't transplant without human intervention. So that means people were on Easter Island about 3,000 years ago at least, if not longer. That would square a lot closer to probably some of the sedimentary elements building up around the sunken statues that are there. So that's pretty consistent. So I think Graham is onto something here. And the other piece is that looking at the whole banana issue, whoever thought ancient mysteries would come down to the plantation of a banana, for 3,000 years ago, if the banana was there, the implication of that is that somebody already had pretty significant navigational feats at their disposal. And they also had agricultural knowledge at their disposal. So it's not as if it just emerged out of nowhere 3,000 years ago. If the banana plants got to Easter Island 3,000 years ago, it means there's a whole backstory. And there's a whole evolution of the technology. And God knows how far that goes back into the past. And so Graham's involvement with indigenous peoples in terms of the mythology, he looks at the script of Rapa Nui, which nobody can translate anymore, but he speaks with indigenous scholars and wisdom keepers that are there, indicating that these documents taught people how to navigate. They taught people how to plant crops. They taught, many of the aspects of that bring out the mysteries of Easter Island. And so that means that technology has been there for a very long time, and that knowledge has been there for a very long time. And with the foundation of bananas being on Easter Island, that indicates that that knowledge could go way further back than the traditional view of history is concerned. So that was what was most interesting to me about episode 2.